All right. All right. I'm Gavin, Baker Labs, and we have here today with Paul Spontia, who's the CEO of the IT company, who has an exceptional reputation of doing just great work in the IT space. Thanks for being here with us today, working with me and everyone who's watching. So, someone I respect a lot and read a lot is Michael Hyatt, and he has a quote, a phrase that just says, what does this challenge make possible? That he actually recommends using in any kind of crisis, right? Not just this one. And I've used that to kind of reframe some thinking of, okay, great, how do we get positive in the midst of all this? And I think, the crazy part about anything like this is when you're forced to do something different, it creates innovation, right? Just it's almost was it Apollo 13 was the movie when they had to kind of figure out the filter with all the parts?
I don't know, actually.
But anyway, where they had the NASA people had 40 a day to figure out how to get that carbon monoxide with stuff on. It's like,
wow.
This is our version of that, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff, and we can only figure it out with what we've got. And I think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see technologies, in the medical space change, right? They're going to get, as fast as possible, or get acquired to, Siemens to make changes to their equipment so it can directly connect to an EHR better than it does now, or whatever. And how we see patients and treat patients. And I think all businesses are gonna they're all adapting. Everyone's had to adapt. The question will be which stays.
Something super practical. The video interview I did with Hank Brown, the guy that was one of the founding members of Cybercom.
Yeah.
He said something. I don't know why. I wish I would have thought of this. As the way he said it. He said, that if I was running a business right now, there were two things he recommended. One was to start building your plan now about how you're going to not only go through this, but on the other side of it. And he said the second thing, which was really part of the first thing, which I think is actually the most important, is he said, start doing, he calls them hot washes from the military, but they're after action reviews. Do it every week. And I thought, man, that's brilliant. Like we do after action reviews, frankly, when we have a really challenging situation that we didn't do a good job of, we do an internal after action review and then share it with the client. What happened? Why did it happen? What do we learn from it? What are we going to change? What recommendations do we have? Yeah. But he said you should do those weekly right now as a company, and just accumulate the lessons learned and then take that data and move it towards your plan. So if you have a plan right now, do the after action review every week and then take that data and inform and change and modify the plan. And you'll probably come out of the backside having pivoted, and I don't even like the word pivot, but maybe shifted a little bit, where you were going this direction, now you're kind of going this direction, or you've created a new line of business, or you figured out, again, work from home. So it's something that we're going to do. We have a Monday staff meeting, and we're going to do an AAR.
Yeah.
What have we learned this week? What are the challenges? What have we gotten better at, and what do we need to fix? And then accumulate all that data so that we can, as a leadership team, evaluate it and figure out what do we need to change, what do we need to update, what are we seeing that we need to do better.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good advice.
It's really smart. Oh, that sparked. I just listened to Option B by Sheryl Sandberg, who's the CEO of Facebook, but her husband unexpectedly passed away, at early 40s. And she actually has a point in that book where she says Facebook, because they're so young, every year goes and does something with a long institution, right? Someone who's made it the long term to learn from them. And one of the things they did is they went to the Marines and did like a boot camp experience as a team.
Yeah.
But one of the things she said is that in the military, they do an after action review after every single thing. And she said, she said the weird part is, she said, we would always do it when things went wrong. But she said, but then there was shame involved with the person or the thing that failed. And she said, but the reality is that as we started to do this just after everything, it basically neutralizes that. There's no shame because it happens no matter what. It's the process is we always review it. We always point out what happened wrong, what went right, and we then save it in a library so we can remember it. And she's like, and she said it actually helps because then failure doesn't become this problem. It just becomes a natural state of work, which is true. We all make mistakes all the time. Hopefully not big ones, but we all make them.
Well, he made the point. He's if you look at Hank's career. I mean, Naval Academy instructor,
Wow.
Lieutenant Colonel, retired U.S. Marines, founding member of U.S. Cybercom. And his first thing about the AAR was be vulnerable, like check your ego at the door. So basically, this isn't about I'm right, you're right, whatever. It's just this is where things went bad, or this is where things went good, and it's not an ego thing. It's just check your ego at the door. So, which is to her point, is that's it's interesting that you learn about. We have this, I think, perception of the military, and then as you get to know some of these military leaders, I know we're way off course from our topic here, but as you get to know some of these military leaders, you realize, man, there is some real gold. Like those guys are pretty humble, and kind of the Patrick Lencioni, humble, hungry, smart. I mean, that's what they teach those guys and gals in the military, and there's a lot to be learned there. So that AAR thing is gold that we're going to implement. I think every business that's listening should do that. Like just every week review. You're probably doing it. People are probably doing it. They just don't know they're doing it. So formalize it, document it, memorialize it, and then use it for content. I mean for getting better.
Yeah, well, for training and onboarding, and here's a mistake we made. I mean, I think that's awesome. I mean, the book, she tells the story of Facebook used to have like these outages, and there's some kind of problem, glitch, if you will, in the code somewhere, and it would have these outages for a certain segment of people. So they had an intern, and the intern decided to trigger the outage intentionally to study it. It took Facebook down for 2 hours.
Wow.
And she said, so we hired the intern. We didn't fire him, we hired him, and basically, and then their CTO said the way he did it probably was probably the way any intern would do it, right? Oh, I'll just do this thing. Yeah. But what we can learn from that is we should be forcing our own glitches, so that we can fix them versus just trying to smash the bug when it happens. Let's go find the bug, and so it's just, and again, I mean, not everybody has the ability to do that, but everyone can look and say, well, what didn't go right? How do we fix it? Smart. So as we wrap up here, I mean, what in terms of kind of getting back to technology, and as folks are moving towards technology, whether in healthcare or just regular businesses, what's one kind of final tidbit you'd say to say, hey, whether it's from a security standpoint or whatever, almost like what are you telling your friends when they talk about the transition and the challenges they're facing? What's the thing that you the wisdom that you share from a technology perspective?
Oh man, I don't know that I have many technology discussions about it really. I think it's probably I hate to use the word fear, but maybe the thing I am concerned about that I would tell people to be aware of and talk to their IT team, staff, outsource company, is just the security related to what they've done. I think that most people rushed into it, and we helped people rush into it because they had to, and we've been emailing and going, hey, we've got to get back to reevaluating what you've done to make sure that it's as secure as possible, because your home network, your home computer that your kids do schoolwork on, or play Minecraft, or whatever it is not secured like that work computer is. And so that really needs to be evaluated from a technology perspective. I think from a functionality perspective, I would just make sure that I'd go listen to the thing that I did with Kevin Waters, because his was really good around,
it was great.
Like setting up your office. I've got a nice shirt on today. I am wearing shorts. I got a nice, but feel like you're gonna go. Yeah, feel like you're gonna go to the office. Create an environment like that. So I have 2 monitors. One of our guys has 4 monitors set up. I think getting a space set up where you can work. Those are the things that I think we don't sit at your desk. Don't sit at your kitchen table and expect to be productive. And I think to leaders, you've got to enable your people to be able to work in that fashion. That's super, super critical. And then to my conversation with Adam, I think there is some leadership components of this that are huge. And how do you check in, stay in touch with people? Using the technology, video is super important. So having faces, making people be on video so you can see everybody is really big. And then I think one of the beautiful things that Adam said that I've heard from others too is the way that it forces leadership to increase in others because you're not there to answer and solve all the problems. So
yeah,
that was a lot of
and
stuff. But
that's helpful though. I think that's really good. Well, you've got, I mean, you touched on kind of the physical. Okay, you may not be as secure as you once were. So let's make sure you don't get comfortable with that. Think about fixing it. And then also, how do you lead in crisis? And it's like one of the, we just wrote a blog post about basically what can you do as a team in the midst of all this, right? It's different. So like one of the things that someone on our team recommended was like, thank you card, like physical cards are important to me in the midst of all this. And so, that's one of the things that we did this week is I sent some cards out, right? I mean, it's just, and the impact was great.
That's a good idea.
well, and I think, the thing that, to answer the question I asked you is, as we wrap up, was the thing that I'm telling people is keep marketing, right? Not because that's how we make money, but because even if you're not my client, you should still keep marketing, right? Everyone's attention is on Facebook and LinkedIn and digital stuff. They're not, there's no sports, there's nothing to compete with the attention at this point.
Right.
Stuff is cheaper. I mean, like it's just, it's even if you were watching local TV, I talked to a guy yesterday, his, TV rates in his area are super low because there's no one else buying. So, I mean, you have this idea of like, and one guy yesterday said, is there any point in history when your competitors have completely stopped moving forward? Right.
Yeah.
And this is that moment, right? They pull all their money back. They just in stasis, man, or they're static. Golly, if you can move forward, you may be able to leapfrog or even whatever. And so that's the hard thing is like, do something, whether it's on your own, like you're doing, like just you're producing a ton of great content. If you've got time to do it, and do it. So anyway, if you guys, where's the best place to find you? If they had questions or wanted to follow up with you, what's the best place?
You can LinkedIn for sure, Paul Sponcia, SPONCIA, or you can email me, which I have to enunciate my entire email address, but it's PSPONCIA@TheITCO.net. I'm thinking about just changing it to Paul at something. Very different. Very different.
I understand that. But Paul, thanks for being with us today. If you guys have questions about your marketing or what you're doing or how to grow in these times, please reach out to me. Or if there's people you want to talk to or see, I'm happy to reach out to them. We can get them on video here too. But Paul, thanks so much for your time and doing this. So me too. So stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Take care.